All right, we're live now. Welcome everyone back to another SQL Saturdays. Give us a few minutes. Let us go ahead and get the links out, get some people in, get moderators in the chat. Urgis, you can share the intro screen. Welcome everyone back to another SQL Saturdays. Give us a few minutes. Let us go ahead and get the links out, get some people in, get moderators in the chat. All right.
Getting some feedback there.
Yeah, I think somebody was playing the YouTube video.
Okay. Shall we begin? We're ready to go?
Not yet. Let me
okay.
Go ahead and
give me the signal. You can do the intro.
Yeah, I'm just getting everything set up here. So guys, just give us like 2 minutes. Moderators, I'm gonna make you a moderator in the chat right now. All right. Everyone tuning in, make sure you go ahead and share this out. You can share the YouTube link out on Twitter, SQL Saturdays, all about the data, hashtag. I'm actually sharing the link out right now so we can get everyone tuned in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So just give us 2 minutes here. Moderators, you can start dropping the links for today's session in the chat. Also, if you got the email, if you submitted your email, you should have that as well. No, don't worry about pinning. I think I have to pin it on my end. So I'm actually about to do that right now. Just 2 seconds. All right. So the session that we'll be doing today is in the pinned tweet. I'm sorry, not tweet. I'm so used to tweeting. It's in the pinned message. So today I'll be you guys' host. You guys already know Data J, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn if you ain't tapped in with me already. Go ahead and share this link out. Make sure you hashtag SQL Saturdays, all about the data. We'll go ahead and introduce the coaches for today. So we go to the next slide, or just when you're ready. So I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can hop right into it.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be today. My name is Ergist. I've been in the data field for about 15 years now. I've worked in all the roles: data engineering, data analytics, and I've done a little bit of data science. But my main sort of skill, I guess, if you will, is SQL. And so I'll be one of your first coaches today.
Awesome. Jelly, you can go ahead.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Jelly. My name is Lajolica. I go by Jelly. I was an analyst in the military prior to the Google certificate. So I'm just trying to dive deep into data analytics in the workforce. So it's very different in the military. So I definitely am a beginner. So I'll be one of the instructors today going over just some basic fundamentals. Excited to work with everybody.
Awesome. And we could have the moderators. You can go ahead and introduce yourself. We could start with Iochi and then go.
Hey everyone, my name is Ugochi. I'm one of the community advisors and moderators in the Discord for All About the Data. I currently work in public health and I have a bachelor's in statistics. So I do want to take those skills into public health. And you'll probably see me throughout the Discord and especially in the healthcare analytics chat as well. So happy to be here.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Chike. I just recently got a new job with a CRM platform company. I've been a data analytics for about 2 years now. I have a master's in analytics and information management with a background in business. I'm very passionate about helping people generally. I'm active on a Discord channel, and I do have experience in SQL, Python, and data visualization tools. I'm happy to be here to moderate and help as I can. Thank you.
Okay, excellent.
All right. Awesome. So once again, thank you for everyone tuning in for session 3 for All About Data SQL Saturdays. We do have the link pinned in the YouTube chat for those who want to follow along. We'll go ahead and have Urgis go. Urgis, you're going first, right?
Yeah, I'm first.
Okay, so we'll have you go ahead and pull your tab up, and we'll give everyone a few minutes to pull these up. So just drop a 1 in the chat once you have these already pulled up, so we can see that a few people are with us here.
Yeah, so we're going to be using a website called SQLiteonline.com. This website allows you to create your own database online, and you can choose Postgres from there. This is the link, SQLiteonline.com, and this is what the website looks like. I'll go back to the slides so that you can, I guess if one of the moderators can copy and paste this link will get you to this Northwind database, which is what we're going to be using in this session. You should be able to download this SQL file. You can click here on the raw button. That will get you the raw SQL. You can either copy paste this into here, SQL Online ID, or you can do save page as, in my case, because I'm on Windows, and I can save the SQL file here. And once I've done that, I should be able to then go back to SQLite, and I can either import by choosing a file here, the file that I just saved. Now I've already run this on my machine, so I'm not going to, I've already run this on this computer, so I'm not going to rerun it. But you can also use this file here in OpenSQL and select the file. That will load the SQL file here, and then you click run. This will create and populate this database here. You should see these tables. Customers, we're going to be working with the customers table today. But there's a few others, and I'm told this is the database that W3 Schools also uses. So if you're using those tutorials as your guideline, once you set this up, and you can set up an account here as well, then you can come back at any time and run your queries here. So that's, I want to make sure that folks are.
Just can you go over that just one more time, just to make sure everyone got it. So once again, everyone, we're showing you how to have everything set up if you want to follow along.
Yes.
As we do the assignment. So just show them one more time and then we can hop right into it.
Of course. So the website that we're going to be using is SQLiteonline.com. SQLiteOnline.com. It is this website here, SQLiteOnline.com. Looks like this. And the database that we're going to be using is the Northwind customers database. You can download the SQL file here, bit.ly, and this is this 3PJL capital WRP, or you can search for northwind.sql on Google, and I got it from this GitHub repository. And once you download the file, you should be able to go back to SQLite IDE, click on the file menu here, open SQL, choose the file that you just saved, northwind.sql. That will open the file here. Now I've opened it twice, so that's okay. And then once you have the file open, you should be able to hit run, and that will create all these tables. And if they exist, they will be dropped, and basically dropped and recreated. So I should theoretically be able to just run this myself as well. And there we go. So once that's done, under Postgres, you should be able to see these tables: categories, customers, orders, etc. We're going to be using just the customers table here today, so we won't need the other ones, but it's good to keep this if you're going to be using this for your tutorials later on. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about how to deal with nulls and what nulls are in SQL, and what they represent, and why they are a big nuisance when it comes to data analytics. So I hope you're all strapped in, ready to go. If you have these slides, you should be able to copy and paste the SQL that I've created there and be able to run it on SQLite.com. Okay, so did I skip one? I must have skipped one. Okay, so what are nulls? I thought I had a slide here. I guess I must have deleted it. So nulls are basically unknown data. You may have seen in other tutorials where the tutorial will say that the null is an empty value. That's not necessarily true. An empty string, for example, is something completely different than a null. An empty string is an actual string of 0 characters, whereas a null value is basically an unknown value. So null equals unknown. What that means is that I don't know what value should go in there, so I'm just going to throw it in a null. It's not equivalent to a blank or a 0 or like an empty string, right? So it's actually, it's a very unique value that is unique to databases. As we'll see later, any operation that you do with a null results in a null, but let's not go too far. Okay, so the way that you search, the way that you check if something is null, you cannot use the equal sign. You cannot say where something equals null. So let's copy and paste this little snippet of code and go back to our online here. Let's just try what happens if we do that and run it. We get nothing. We get nothing because you cannot check null with an equal sign. In Python and other languages, you can, because null is treated as something different. In SQL, you cannot. This does not work in SQL. You can also not do this. So region does not equal null. That's also not going to work. We get nothing. There is a special keyword for null, and it's called is. So you want to say select star from customers where region is null. That is the only way that we're going to get all of the records where the region is unknown. So these customers, we have them in our database, we have their name, we have their address and their postal code, but we don't have the region. So for nulls, again, something to keep in mind, you cannot use equals, you have to use is. And if you want to find the non-nulls, you have to basically negate this thing. You have to say is not null. So again, you cannot use does not equal, which is the what I showed earlier. You have to use is not null, and this will give us all the customers where the region is not null, as we can see here. So this is what's important. One of the first things that's important in null is that you have to use this is keyword and is not. I will continue into the next slide unless there are any questions that have come up.
All right, if you have any questions about what was done, you can go ahead and exit in the YouTube chat. I think I seen one question where someone said, I lost it.
We could also wait until the very end. Hopefully I will have covered most of the questions by then.
Yeah, I lost it. I think somebody was asking about how to do something with Northwind. Oh, how do you save the Northwind file? Did we went through that already?
Oh yes, so if you are here, you click on the raw button. This gives you the SQL file here in the URL. And then what I do is I right click in Windows here. I'm in Windows here, but I think in Mac, you can do the same thing. You can right click, you can do save page as, should give you northwind.sql.
Yes.
And you just hit save.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to
Yeah.
make a suggestion. Can you go to the link that's like the actual GitHub, like what it looks like to people? Let me see, because that's the link that they have. So you want to be able, yes. So everyone, when you see link number 3 in the pinned link on the YouTube chat, link number 3 will lead you to this database. So all you have to do is copy it. When you copy it, you can paste it into the SQLite site. And then when you press on, it'll download basically that database into your SQLite. Let's see.
Yes, so the file here, I wonder if, see, this is an HTML file. So you can also highlight this and go all the way to the very end, but this is a very long file, so I don't recommend
There's
that
a
you
copy
do that.
button somewhere. There's a copy button somewhere. I think
copy the source.
Top right corner. When you get to the what do you call it? Yeah, when you get to the GitHub, on the top right corner of the actual window where the code is, you'll see a copy raw contents button. It should be next to a little pencil button. If you see that, hopefully it should copy it. Let's see, I'm trying to go back to your, it should be near it. That's really where I see it on mine.
Okay, I'm not seeing it on mine.
It's not on your screen. Yeah, it's not there on yours.
If you don't see it, you can click this raw button, and this will give you the actual text of the file, which you can save as.
So that works too. So there's a raw button too. So if you see the raw button, you can click that and do what our guest is doing.
Okay. Also, Urgis, we have people saying that they got an error near the set command. You're trying to run the code. You want to try to run that code one more time?
Trying to run this code here.
Yeah. Try to run the code one more time.
I've chosen. I want to make sure that I choose Postgres here. So I want to click on here, and I believe I did a step before. So let me just close this for a second. You might see click to connect here. So you'd have to do this first. You need to connect to the database first. Okay, then that will make you'll see something like this. The demo, which is it comes with the site. There's the demo table, and something like beta 076 core SQL and then nothing on the Northwind. Then once you open the Northwind SQL file, you hit run, and it populates all these tables. Are folks still stuck in this step? I'm sorry, I'd forgotten that step that is, like whenever you open a new database, you have this option, click to connect. We need to open Postgres here and then connect to the server and then run Northwind. Okay. Shall I continue?
Yes, you can.
All right. Yep. So if anyone has any more issues, you can just leave the question in there, but go ahead. You should be good.
Okay, I will continue then. Okay, so as we said earlier, null is a special value in SQL. It's not blank, it's not empty, it's not zero, it's basically an unknown. And so because it's an unknown, we have to use special keywords to check for null. And the keyword is the keyword is. And we can go back here in our Postgres and kind of rerun select star from customers where region is null and click run. That should give us all of the customers where the region is unknown. And the ones where region is known, basically not unknown, where the region is not null, we just run it, we get all the customers where the region is something known. In a good database, you're not supposed to have nulls. So when you do where some field is null, so for example, let's say customer ID, which is the primary key, it should not be null. If I do that and I run it, there is no rows. So that's a good sign. Okay, let's move on to the next slide.
For everyone tuning in, make sure you thumbs up the video too. Thumbs up the video. It kind of helps more people see it as well. You know, people that's looking into SQL. Also share it on your YouTube. Share it on your Twitter. Hashtag SQL Saturdays. Hashtag all about the data. Any questions you have, drop it in the chat. We'll make sure we answer it on live or we'll answer it in the chat. All right. Definitely want to thank the instructors for coming on and helping us out here. So go ahead, Arn.
All right. Okay. So how does null actually work? So as I said earlier, whenever you do any operation with null, you're basically doing an operation with an unknown value. So what is 2 plus unknown? Well, it's unknown because you don't know. So whenever you do any operation with null, you typically get back null. So for example, in this case, I'm trying to concatenate the region and the city. So let's copy paste this code back into SQLite Online. This parallel bar operator is the concatenate operator. So that's where you combine two strings together, and I'm adding a little dash in between. So if I run this, I'm saying where region is null. So if I run this, I get all nulls, meaning if this is not blank or this is not an empty value, this is basically an unknown value. So I'm concatenating a known value and an unknown value. So SQL says, okay, that's unknown because one of them is an unknown value. So whenever you do any operation with null, you get back null. This is very important to kind of understand because if you're doing calculations with fields and you don't know if they're null, if they happen to be null, you're going to get unexpected data. So we'll see some of those side effects in a little bit. But just to show you what this looks like, when we say where the region is not null and we hit run, we get what we expect. We get, British Columbia, Tawasin, and we get SP Sao Paulo, et cetera, et cetera. So we get what we expect to see. If I were to omit the where completely, and I just were to run this, I will get, okay, so you can see where the region is not known. So where the region is null, I get back a null. Where the region is known, I get back the field that I expect. So we'll see in a little bit, we'll see how to deal with this. But for now, it's important to kind of get to understand the idea that when you do any sort of operations, such as concatenation, or here I'm doing some static math operations here. So just to show a few more examples of what happens when you 2 plus null, I get back null, whoops. 2 times null, I get back null, and so on and so forth. This is only to show what happens. So, but you probably will not be doing something like this with real data. You will be, creating metrics. You'll be creating categories with strings, and you'll very likely have to deal with values that are null. And so your output will actually be null. And it could hide information that is important. For example, in the case of the region here, I might want to show just the city, for example, where the region is missing, or maybe I want to replace it with something like NA, as in not available. And we'll see how to do that in a little bit. But before we go, there is one more thing that we need to talk about when we're dealing with nulls. Whenever you aggregate rows in SQL, if any of those values are null, they will be skipped. Now, some databases, when you run something like this, might warn you, might say, by the way, there were null values in that column that were skipped. But some databases will just be very quiet and not tell you anything. So this is an important lesson to understand, that what I'm doing here is I'm doing a count star, which is count all the rows, and then count region. If region were to be completely not null.
Sorry, quick note. Is it possible to zoom in a bit so that people can see the code?
Of course. Is that better?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
Okay, so as I was saying, whenever you are probably taught when you see courses online that when you use count, you can plug in just about any of the columns and it's going to count all the rows. That's not true if the column that you're counting has null values. The null values will be skipped and will not be counted. So in this case, let's say I want to count customer ID and region, and I hit run. Okay, I get 91 rows and 31 rows. I would expect these to be equal, but they're not. And the reason is because region has null values and the nulls get skipped when you're counting. It's the same thing if you do a sum and some of the numbers are unknown and are such nulls. The same thing will happen. Those rows will be completely skipped, and some databases will warn you to say, hey, by the way, that field has null values. But some databases may not. So it's something important to keep in mind whenever you're doing any sort of aggregation. So those are kind of the gotchas when it comes to nulls. Any operation that you do with a null comes back a null, whether it's addition, multiplication, division, whether it is some kind of a string operator like concatenation or substring if you're trying to like parse a string out into substrings. And if any of the rows were to be null, you're going to get back null. Okay, so how do we deal with this? How do we protect against nulls? The standard SQL function for dealing with nulls is known as coalesce. It's got a bit of a fancy name. Some databases might also have another function called if null, but this is not standard. This is the standard function. That's an ANSI SQL. ANSI is the international standard of SQL. And the way coalesce works is you put it in your select, and you can actually put multiple values in it. So column 1, column 2, and then some default value. And the way that it works is it grabs the first non-null value amongst all of the ones that you list. You could list anything from 2 to as many as you want, like 10, 15, etc. So if you're checking multiple values simultaneously for null, you can just use coalesce this way. And the way that it works is like this. So in this case, we have select coalesce region, and then we're going to replace it with this string called NA. So what we're doing is we're saying, if region is not null, give me the actual region. If the region is null, replace it with a string called NA. What that does is that gets rid of all of the nulls. So you no longer have to deal with nulls. So I'm going to run this without first checking, so you can see what this will actually look like. Okay, so now we can see, for this customer, the region is not known, not known, not known. But then if we scroll down a bit, we'll see this one, it is known. So we show the region. For this one, it's also known. So we show the region. So this has the power to basically replace your null values, because you really don't want nulls in your reporting. Nulls, like I said, mess things up a lot. And the coalesce function, or if null, but coalesce is the one that's more common, will do kind of a replacement, and we'll see if this value is null, replace it with this other value. Now, how does this work for the concatenation that we had earlier? Let's go back to the slide where we had the concatenation. Okay, let's grab this, paste it here. And now, instead of just showing region, I'm going to replace it with coalesce region NA. And I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to run it. Aha, now we get everything. So you see where the region is missing, we get this NA, and then we get the city, as opposed to what we had before, which was basically just nulls. In this case, now I can do something later on in my reporting where I can say, okay, well, the region is NA, group that under like an unknown category. And oftentimes you'll get questions, what's there in the unknown? Well, if the data doesn't exist, then there's nothing for you to know. But if the data was somehow missed from some kind of processing, like a pipeline of data, and the data exists in the live database, but it doesn't exist in your reporting database, then you might have to work with your data engineers to try to fix the underlying problem. But you as a data analyst, to sort of, I call this defensive coding, right? I call this like, you as an analyst, you're protecting yourself against these unknown values. So I always recommend, whenever you're working with data that you don't really know very well, or even if you know the data well and you know that it's messy, you always want to use something like coalesce in your selects. And you can use some default values for the unknowns. So what are some examples of that? And we can also do this, we can do the same thing with this query. And let me show you that aggregation query. If you remember this one, right? This was the query that got us only 31 rows for the region. Well, what if I were to replace the region with this? What am I going to get? I would expect to get all the rows. Voila, there we go. Now we get all 91 rows because the count function is counting all the blanks as actual rows, right? Because now the value for the blank is replaced with NA. Okay. Now let's continue this and then I'll ask some questions. As we saw, we use coalesce with the default value here when we don't know what to do with the nulls. So what are these default values? So if your field is an integer, typically zeros are used as default values, sometimes -1s if 0 has specific meaning, but you have to be very careful here, okay? Like 0 could actually mean something. And if you're replacing an unknown with a 0, you're basically fudging the data. You don't want to be fudging the data. You don't want to be messing with the data, right? You have to be very careful. If the 0 cannot exist, for example, let's say, I'm not sure if, let's say age. Okay, so if there's a field called age, and for some customers that is an unknown value, okay, then I can replace it with 0 because 0 is not a valid age. But if the field is, say, account balance, then 0 has actual meaning, as does like a negative value. So in those cases, I cannot replace easily the null with a default value such as 0, because then I'm fudging the numbers. I'm saying, okay, for this unknown account balance, I'm saying it's 0, right? So you don't want to be doing that. That is very dangerous when it comes to reporting, right? Especially if you're dealing with financial data or healthcare data. So you got to strike a balance between protecting against nulls, but also not fudging the data in ways that don't make sense. The same thing for dates. Sometimes, January 1st, 1900 is used as a default value. This is fine in most cases, but if you are doing some kind of a like if you are calculating the difference between two dates to say how many days has it been since that date, or how many years, how many months, if you replace it with something like 01/01/1900, you're going to get a very large number, 100, what is it, 100 plus years, many months, many days. You don't want to do that in this case. So you also have to watch out for when you replace the null with, so you can't just blindly go in and replace the null with these values. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. I'm going to see if there's any questions. And if there aren't, then I can hand it off to Jelly for her part.
Yeah, no questions so far. Any of the questions that were there, they were answered in the chat.
Did folks get or were able to get this running?
Yes, we were able to assist them with that.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is a very, very useful database because it has almost real world kind of data. So you see like missing data, you see things like strange values. Like if you just look at the, let's just take a look at the customers table, right? If I just quickly scroll some of the data here. I'm going to scroll over to the, can I scroll over to the right? Okay, so we got the nulls, but we also have strange things like postal code, where sometimes it's a number, sometimes it's, depending on the region, it's something different. Right? This is what real world data actually looks like. And you got to be careful about making assumptions that, oh, the postal code has to be like a 7-digit string or something, or like a phone number that's completely junk, 555, or some area codes, like there's spaces, there's dashes. This is like real world data. If you want to practice cleaning data up, this is perfect. Like one exercise that I would highly recommend that you do if you want to practice cleaning data is turn this phone number into like a better formatted number, depending on how many digits you have. You can see that a lot of it is kind of junk, but this is a good exercise. Assume this was your real database and you're asked to, provide the phone number. Maybe you can do something like, okay, how do you remove these dots? This is not a phone number. This is more like an IP address. How do you remove these spaces? How do you remove these parentheses and this dash? So this is a great data set if you set this up for yourself.
I did have a question, not from the chat, but generally. If you had null values, how would you replace them with something? Like instead of using null in numbers, for example, how would you put like 0? Is there a way to do that?
Yes, you would use the coalesce.
Okay.
So you would say select coalesce the column that has the number, and then comma 0. So you would do something like select balance and select coalesce balance. Well, this is balance is kind of strange, but let's say this was age 0 as age, assuming that there was an age function there. So in this case, if the age does not exist, it's going to be replaced with 0.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Coalesce is what I was using, and you can the use case for supplying multiple values for coalesce is when you have, so you're checking the last updated date on multiple tables and you want the first non-null one. So you can do, date 1, comma, date 2, date 3. And if it doesn't exist, maybe you want to replace it with current date. That's another pattern that I've used many times during analytics, right? So I'm checking.
Hey, Urges, does this allow us to change it to like dark mode? Someone said they're still having issues seeing the code. There we go. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So there's this little cog icon here. Go to the skins and pick dark. There's a few other ones. There's gray. Now, yeah, if they were not able to see all the code before, I apologize. We do have to get on with the program, if you will. But if there's time, I can sort of cover certain pieces of my presentation. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I'll pass it on to Jelly, and I'll hang around and answer any questions that might come up.
Hey, Ergus, sorry.
Would you like me to keep sharing?
Really quick, before you go, there's a question in the YouTube chat. Someone had asked, is there a way to format your data in the database? So for instance, if you have a telephone number, it has to be entered in a certain way, so you won't have Plus maybe
Aha.
variations.
Yes, there is. It's a little complicated though. It requires that you use constraints on the data. You should read up on SQL constraints, I think. SQL constraints. Constraint check. Okay, so something like this, check constraint. And in this one, you can put specific things like, for the formatting, you could create a function that says the phone number has to be all digits, right? So if someone tries to plug in a non-conformant number, the database will throw an error. And that way you can guarantee that your data is clean. But this has to be done in sort of by engineers when they first design the database. Many databases are not designed like this because engineers, one, are lazy sometimes, or some other times they don't know what the final format is going to be. So they just leave everything kind of open. And so you as an analyst has to deal with kind of the exhaust of this messiness of data. Yeah, my mantra to all of those that are learning SQL, real world data is messy. Expect messiness and cover yourself with functions like coalesce and others. I hope that answers the question. But yeah, this is much this is a much more advanced thing here, where you can add, like, you can alter a table, you can add a check that the age is greater than 18, and if the check fails, the row will not be inserted in the database.
Awesome, thank
All
you.
right.
Does this go into also changing the format? That was her follow-up question. Like if it's not in a 888 format.
So the format, no, it doesn't. Formatting is something you have to do. See, when you store data, you just want to store the data. You don't really care about the format. SQL does not care about the format. But if your data is stored properly, for example, a social security number, you don't have the dashes. You know that after the first 3, there's a dash, and then after the next 2, there's a dash. So you can format it in your reporting. And many tools like Tableau, for example, or Looker, they have their own facilities for taking specific data types, dates, numbers, phone numbers, zip codes, and formatting it for you, as long as you give it plain data, no formatting.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So yeah, we have Jelly share her screen.
Okay, either that or I can continue, but if Jelly wants to share, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, no, because she has to.
She's
error
gonna
code.
drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Jelly, you ready? You should be able to share your screen. We'll give her a few minutes to share her screen. But while we're waiting, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to post them in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.
A question just came in. Sorry, go on.
Oh, go ahead.
A question just came in. If you, for instance, if you want to pull data from SQL in the sense of formatting data, you can pull it from SQL and format it in Excel, for instance, instead of Tableau. Is that possible? I guess.
So if I understand the question correctly, you want to put formatted data in SQL, right?
Yeah, if you pull the data from SQL, like phone number, for instance,
Mhm.
you can reformat that same data in Excel. That's what the question is asking.
I
If you can
see.
do that.
Yeah, so, well, you can actually store, see, in SQL, you can store strings, which is just basically a string of characters. So you can just store anything. In fact, if you look at the
All right, can everyone hear me?
oh, looks like Jelly is ready to go.
Okay, so sorry about that, y'all. Technical difficulties. So like I said, I'm a beginner. So everything that I do is going to be beginner based. So one thing that's helped me on my learning journey with SQL is always testing my knowledge. So that's, projects, test your knowledge. But also for me, that's taking quizzes. So I feel like when you're learning, you don't know what you don't know. So I kind of go online, try to find free quizzes, or, if you use stuff like Data Camp, they have quizzes and different things up there, but find quizzes. And like, if you don't know all the information, that's fine. Take a quiz and learn what you don't know. So sometimes if I get a question wrong, I like to just go over it. And one of the resources, or the main resource that we're going to use today for a quiz, the W3 schools, I like to use that to make sure, like if I take their quiz and if they have the one beginner quiz, if I take that quiz and I miss anything, then I can just go back through their resource, through their tutorial, and kind of see where I got it wrong. So I wanted us to have a little fun today and just take a quiz together. So I'm going to try to stream the quiz and let's all go over it. All right.
All right. And can we just confirm which link that is again, so we make sure everyone has the right link?
Perfect. So the easiest way to go through it is Google search SQL quiz, and it's a W3 schools, but that's the first link on the slide. If anybody can pull that up for me.
All right. You can share your screen now as well, Angela. You should be able to share.
All right. So is everybody able to find that quiz, the SQL quiz?
So for everyone following along, if you look at the pin post, it'll be the first link in the pin post. The one that says link 1. Just click on that one and then we'll be ready to go.
Perfect. All right. So the best way to be a participant in this is to drop your answers. And that's for everybody, moderators or whoever, drop your answers in the YouTube chat. And then we'll just take this quiz all together and see how we do. So can y'all see my screen?
Yep, you're good to go. Yep.
All right, perfect. So question 1, we say, what does SQL stand for? This is so very basic. Do we all agree for this one? Structured query language? All right, so we'll skip past that one. We know structured query language. Number 2, which SQL statement is used to extract data from a database? Very beginner friendly for these first 2 questions. All right, select. Okay, so for the third one, which SQL statement is used to update data in a database? Do we all know this one? Okay, we all update. We all agree to update? Perfect. Okay. So which SQL statement is used to delete data from a database? Okay. So that's the delete statement, right? Y'all let me know if I'm moving too fast. If y'all have any questions about anything, we can just go over that. Y'all all getting these right. Y'all know, okay, we all got the fundamentals down. Okay, for the 5th question, which SQL statement is used to insert new data into a database?
And Jelly, I'll just pause for a moment too, just to people to catch up.
Okay.
So you guys should be seeing question 5 for which SQL statement is used to insert new data in the database. And you could just drop what you think the answer is in the YouTube chat.
Okay. So Anna says insert into. Insert into hot like fire says. Insert into Grace says, I'm gonna go insert into too. So the other options for insert new, add record. Let's go with insert into. Okay. So with SQL, how do you select the column name, first name from a table named persons? So one of the options is select persons.first name. The other option is select first name from persons. And then the other option is extract first name from persons. Y'all can say A, B, or C for these options too, if that helps. So like first name from persons, option B. Second option said, okay. Second option says Aquila, so we'll go with that one. All right, question number 7. With SQL, how do you select all the columns from a table named persons? So A is select asterisks from persons. B is select persons. C is select asterisk dot persons. And D is select all from persons. So how do you select all the columns from a table named persons? Benaya says A, select asterisk from persons. A says Anna. A says Eric. All right, we'll go with that one. Nimmer says B, we'll go back to that. So we'll definitely review these afterwards so we'll know exactly what we got right or what we got wrong. So with SQL, for the next question, with SQL, how do you select all the records from a table named persons where the value of the first name is Peter? So option A is select asterisks from persons where first name is less than or greater than Peter. The next one is select all, the word all from persons where first name like Peter. The third option is select asterisks from persons where first name equals Peter and Peter's in quotation marks. And the last one is select all from persons where first name equals Peter. And this time is the all is spelled out. So what y'all think? A, B, C, or D? Eric says C. So C is select asterisks from persons where first name equals Peter. Anna says C as well. Okay. C, happy wise, so we'll go with C. Okay, so with SQL, how do you select all the records from a table named persons where the value of the first name starts with an A? So this goes into operators. So A is select asterisks from persons where first name equals parentheses, A parentheses, and that's in quotation marks. The next one, B, is select asterisks from persons where first name like parentheses A, parentheses A, and that's in quotation marks. C is select asterisks from persons where first name like A and then the parentheses after, or the percent sign after, and select asterisks from persons where first name equals A. What y'all thinking? Where it starts with an A. Y'all saying C? Oh, thanks, Nick. The less than or greater than sign is the same thing as does not equal for anyone curious. Okay, so everybody's saying C, we'll select that one. And my stream is a little bit lagging, so hopefully y'all can follow along. So the next question, question 10, the OR operator displays a record if any conditions are listed, if any conditions listed are true. The AND operator displays a record if all of the conditions listed are true. Is that true or false? So the AND and the OR operator, what y'all think? The OR operator displays a record if any conditions listed are true. The AND operator displays a record if all of the conditions listed are true. And that's true or false. I want 100%, so y'all don't leave me astray on this. Kadesha says true. Eric says true. Anna says true. Ugoki says true. Happy says true. That's enough trues. Okay. All right, the next question, question 11. With SQL, how do you select all the records from a table named persons where the first name is Peter and the last name is Jackson? Okay, let's say it's true. Okay. Okay, so for this one, option A is select asterisk from persons where first name less than or greater than, I guess so. He said it's not equal Peter and last name's Jackson with the less than or greater than sign. Select asterisk from persons where first name equals Peter in quotations and last name equals Jackson. Or option C, select first name equals Peter, last name equals Jackson from persons. So as with SQL, with SQL, how do you select all the records from a table named persons where the first name is Peter and the last name is Jackson? Okay, so I got a couple B's. Eric says B, Hot Like Fire says B, Chike B, Goki B. Okay, bravo, y'all. That was too easy. So select asterisks from persons where first name equals Peter and last name equals Jackson. So y'all moving faster than me. Y'all knew that. I was still looking at it. With SQL, how do you select all the records from a table named persons where the last name is alphabetically between and including Hanson and Peterson? We're going to see if y'all correct because y'all answering this pretty fast. So A is select asterisks from persons where last name between Hanson and Peterson. Select last name greater than Hanson and first name less than Peterson from persons. Select asterisk from persons where last name is greater than Hanson and last name is less than Peterson. What y'all think? Nimmer says C. Oh, no, Nimmer says B. We on question 12 if y'all following along on your own screens. Okay, so Eric says A, Anna says A. Selecting all the records between the last name Hanson and Peterson. Goki says A. Okay, everybody saying alpha. Cool, let's move along. A. Yeah, Hot Life Fire. I had to take y'all. I'm gonna have to take y'all guess on that one because I'm not quite sure. Okay, so which SQL statement is used to return only different values? Question number 13. What y'all got? You're trying to find only different values. Which one would you use? Which SQL statement is used to return only different values? So we got select unique, select distinct, and select different. Select unique A, select distinct B, select different C. What y'all got? And select distinct. Kadisha says bravo, select distinct, select distinct. Okay. We on the same page about select distinct? Perfect. Okay, we're on to question 14. Y'all ready? I picked select distinct for that one, so that's what we got for the last one. The next question, which SQL keyword is used to sort the result sets? So what keyword are we using to sort our results? Highlight fire says select unique is cute though. Those are the ones, the questions you get, they might trick you. You're like, oh, that sounds right. So question 14, which keyword is used to sort the result set? So A is order by, B is sort, C is order, and D is sort by. Anna says A. Anna, you answer these fast. Eric says A. Hot Like Fire says A. Order by. Y'all sure? Y'all know y'all stuff? Chike says A. Okay. We're going to go with A. We're going to see what y'all know. Alpha, Kanisha, Akila, A. Okay, everybody got A? Cool. So question 15. With SQL, how can you return all the records from a table named persons sorted descending by first name? So A, we got select all from persons, sort first name descending, DESC. Select all from persons, order by, or order first name descending, that's B. C, select asterisks from persons, so select all from persons, order by, first name descending. And then D, select asterisks from persons, sort by, first name descending. So we're trying to return all the records from the table named person, sorted and descending. Question 15, descending by first name. We just kind of went over this one, huh? So like asterisk from persons, order by first name descending. That's what Inna says, Kadisha. Everybody's on the same page about, okay. So that keyword order by we just went over, huh? So y'all might got that one right. See, okay. And we'll go over these, making sure at the end we all know what's going on. Highlight fire C, perfect. Okay, so with SQL, question 16. With SQL, how can you insert a new record into the person's table? Okay, y'all been doing any updates to the tables? How can you insert a new record into the person's table? So A, insert parentheses Jimmy Jackson into persons. B, insert values Jimmy Jackson into person. C, insert into persons values Jimmy and Jackson. And this question 16, what y'all think? A, B, or C? Inserting a new record into the persons table. I'm gonna have to listen to y'all on this one. I'm not quite sure. Kadisha says Charlie. Ugoki says Charlie. Anna says Charlie. Insert into persons values Jimmy and Jackson. Y'all want to go with that one? What y'all think? Grace, Highlight Fire says Charlie. Chat, y'all said Charlie. Y'all better not be copying each other's answers now. Hopefully this y'all real answers, because some of these I'm not quite sure about. I'm forgetting how to think in front of y'all. Okay, so we're going with Charlie for that one. Okay, next question. Happy Awaz says Charlie for the last one. Okay. So question 17, with SQL, how can you insert Olsen as the last name into person's table? So, okay, we're going back to the inserting. So option A, insert Olsen, and it's in quotation mark parentheses, into persons with into persons and then last name in parentheses. B, insert into persons, last name values Olsen. Who's Jimmy? Okay, and C, insert into persons Olsen, into last name. Oh, that sounds interesting. Okay, insert into persons, into last name. That's for C. So we're on question 17 if I'm reading this crazy, y'all. So let me know what you think. A, B, or C? With SQL, how can you insert Olsen's as a last name in the persons table? So Eric said B. Kadisha says Bravo. Akila says Bravo. Tessie says B. B. Ugoki B. You is that a question, Ugoki? Maybe C, Anna? C is tripping me up. The too many N2s in there for me.
I didn't have a question. I was just a little unsure. But yeah, that's why I put the question mark. Oh, it's Ugochi, by the way.
Ugochi, girl, I've been messing your name all up.
It's all right.
Thank you for correcting that.
No problem.
Kadisha says, say it with your chest. Insert into
Okay,
persons. Nimmer says B. We on the same page about B? Maybe C. I got a maybe C. What y'all think? I'm gonna go with the popular vote. Y'all saying B? We're gonna go with that. Nimmer says B. Okay. Benaya says maybe C. All right, let's go with B for now, and then we'll check it out with the results. I want 100, so I hope y'all not misleading me. Okay, so question 18. How can you change Hansen into Nielsen in the last name column in the person's table? And hopefully y'all can see that, because I'm reading this all type of crazy. A, B, C, or D. How can you change Hansen into Nielsen in the last name column in the person's table? So you got somebody, their name is Hansen in the table, but you need to change it to Nielsen. Somebody messed up. So how can you do that? So we either going to use the modify keyword or we're going to use the update keyword. This is how I do quizzes. I kind of have to look at it like that if I'm not sure. So is this an update keyword or modify keyword? And then y'all pick which option. So A is modify persons, set last name Nielsen, where last name equals Hansen. Modify persons, the option B, modify persons, set last name Hansen into last name Nielsen. Option C, that's where everybody's saying already. C, okay, update person, set last name Nielsen, where last name equals Hansen. And then D, update person, set last name equals Hansen until last name equals Nielsen. This is a little tricky for me. Ooh. Okay, this is a little tricky. How can you change the name Hansen to Nielsen in the last name column? So I'm gonna go with update. What y'all think? Update persons. Set last name equals Nilsson where? I know it's gonna be where. I know for sure. I feel like it's C. What y'all thinking? Yeah. I feel like the where is making me want to say C. We good with a C? We rolling with Charlie? Okay. Okay, let's roll with Charlie. Anybody else? Any other options? Okay, we're gonna roll with Charlie. Question 19, we almost done, y'all. I know y'all brains are starting to turn off. My brain is starting to turn off myself. With SQL, how can you delete the records where the first name is Peter in the person's table? Okay, so y'all trying to delete Peter out the table. He no longer need to be on the email list. So how are we gonna do this? A, B, or C? A is delete first name equals Peter from persons. B is delete from persons where first name equals Peter. And C is delete row first name equals Peter from persons. I don't know why I'm getting tongue twisted, but what y'all think, A, B, or C? So we're trying to delete the record. So the whole row of Peter, we're trying to delete in the person's table. Okay, Eric, Anna says B, Vinaya says B, Tessie, Ugochi, B. We're gonna go with B. Delete. Anybody else? Question 19, what you saying? Bravo, Kadisha, Akila says B. Grace says B. Nimmer says B. Okay. Am I missing anybody? Any other options? I think y'all cheating. I think y'all jumping on each other's answers. I don't know. Hot Like Fire says B. Okay, perfect. Question 20, we got 5 more. So with SQL, how can you return the number of records in a person's table? This is fundamentals. So how can we return the number of records in the person's table? A is select columns, asterisks from persons. B is select count, asterisks from persons. C is select length, asterisks from persons, and it's select no asterisks from persons. We're trying to return the number of records in a person's table. So the number of rows. Okay, Ugochi says B, Chike says B, Anna says B. B, question 20. Tessie says B, Eric says B, Grace says B. Okay, so B is select count, asterisks from persons. Bravo, Kadisha. Anybody else? Hot Like Fire says B. Okay. So we're going with the keyword select count. Nimra says B. Akila says B. All right. So we're gonna go with B. Question 21, 4 more, y'all. So what is the most common type of join? The most common type of join. Hot Like Fire, select no is a mood. Yeah, I ain't seen that one before. If that's the answer, it's really gonna have tricked all of us. Select no. So question 21, y'all, what's the most common type of joins? What y'all think is the most common type of join? Some of these I don't recognize, so let me see what y'all got. So A is join table, B is joined, C is inner join, and D is inside join. Okay, we got 2 answers for inner join. Anybody else thinks there's a different kind of type of join? Are y'all agreeing with Tessie? Inner join, okay. And Ugochi fixed me, y'all. So if I'm saying y'all names wrong, please forgive me. I can't read today. Happy OY says C. Chak, are you sure you ain't never heard of that? Y'all sure it's inner join? Y'all saying inner join? I'm gonna go with it. If I don't get 100 on this quiz, I'm gonna feel some type of way. Okay, so question 22. Moving on. Which operator is used to select values within a range? So option A is range, option B is between, and option C is within. Which operator is used to select values within a range? Vinaya, quick with it. B. Chite says B. Kadisha still likes that inside join. Try that on y'all next queries, okay? Just see how it works out. That's next level stuff. Question number 22, what y'all got? I got bravo, bravo. Anna says between. Grace says bravo. Nimra says bravo. Kadisha says bravo. Okay, let's go ahead with bravo. All right, y'all gotta go a little bit faster now. we trying to finish this test.
Jelly, sorry to interrupt again. Chike is actually Chike. Just
Oh my
goodness. You're good.
Chike. Chike, forgive me. Okay, forgive
That's
me.
fine.
Kadisha said you was cheating anyway, so I mean, I'm sorry, Chike. Okay, Chike, you go cheat. What y'all got for this question? Question 23. No. Forgive me, honey. Y'all see how I'm reading these words today. I stepped outside, so I know, I'm cold, I'm stuttering, I'm doing some crazy stuff. How Chike? If y'all Googling the answers, y'all gonna be in trouble. Question 23. The not know, okay. Urgis was just talking about not know, so let's see if y'all know what y'all talking about. The not know constraint enforces a column to not accept no values. True, true, false? What y'all thinking? True, true. Question 23, true. Anybody saying false? If y'all saying false, Urgis gonna be like, ooh, y'all wasn't listening. True. Everybody on the true wagon, true train? Okay. I learned my lesson today with reading names. I ain't gonna say no more names, honey, because I'm about illiterate with names. Okay, question 24, y'all. Let's move on to the next question. We got true for that last one. Okay. I see a new answer up in there, true, okay. So we got true for that last one. Question 24, which operator is used to search for a specified pattern in a column? So we had this in an earlier question. So which operator is used to search for a specified pattern in a column? Which operator is used to search for a specified pattern in a column? Everybody saying bravo? Bravo, bravo, 24, bravo. Y'all don't slow down now. We got one more question to go. We got bravo. Anybody else? Everybody saying the like operator. I ain't seen the get operator. Is that above my level? Is get a real thing? I ain't never seen that before. Is that the elite SQL y'all was talking about, SQL y'all was talking about earlier? Happy Wise says bravo. We're gonna go with bravo for that one. Okay, and the last question. The last question, y'all ready for this? Which SQL statement is used to create a database table named customers? Now, I ain't created no databases yet, so we're gonna see if y'all get this one right. So which SQL statement is used to create a database table called customers? So option A is create DB customers. Option B is create database table customers. Option C is create table customers. And option D is create database tab customers. And at eBay. Yeah, if I'm saying y'all names right, I'm sorry, okay? Everybody saying C? Everybody saying C? Create table customers. Is that how you create a database table called customers? How like Fire says C? Any other options? Okay, I got another C. We're up to 30 minutes on this. Anybody else? Joy says C. Thanks for joining, Joy. For throwing your answer in there. Okay, we like that. What Kadisha say? Kadisha, did you give your answer? Any other? C? All right, we're going to go with C and see how y'all did. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see my results for the quiz. Can y'all see that?
Period.
Period, Pooh. 100% perfect. So y'all, this is just an example of something that if you are a beginner will help. You can go online, like I just did a Google search, SQL quiz or whatever tool you're trying to learn. But for us, we're talking about SQL. Google search SQL quiz. There's literally a whole bunch of resources in the slides. If anybody can pull that up, in the slides, there's three more links of quizzes that I added that are the ones that I go and use. The second one in particular, it'll make you actually submit, like generate your own queries. And if you get, it's kind of like the LinkedIn learning quizzes or badges. If you get in the top 25%, it'll give you a certificate that you can use. But it's good to always practice your knowledge, take the quizzes, know what you don't know. And like, if you don't know it, it's no big deal. If you don't know it, now you know what to go look for. So if you're a beginner, like I said, you might not know what you don't know. So try to use quizzes like these to see how you do. Y'all did super great. Y'all super smart. Thanks everybody for participating. If y'all have any questions, this is a good time. If anybody can pull up those slides, y'all know me and my technical difficulties.
Yeah, I think you just have to stop sharing your screen. I think Urgis was trying to share his, but good job, Coach Jelly in the building came through with it. Let's see. That was fun. Seeing everyone interacting. So these are the links. These are the links you were saying, right?
Yeah. So that second one in particular, that's the one where it's not like a multiple choice quiz. It's where you actually have to go in and curate your own queries to answer whatever problem they're having. And the third one is the interview questions. So I've seen in the chats, few people will talk about interview questions to stop them up. One thing that I like to do, and I've had a handful of SQL related interviews that I actually didn't do the best on when I first started. Like when I was still doing the Google certificates, I was applying like I knew everything. And I actually did get stopped up on a few interviews. So you can always Google interview questions, Google SQL quizzes, find stuff to practice your knowledge on. And then, like I said, if you're a beginner, you don't know what you don't know. So use these quizzes to kind of figure out where you should be using your energy to learn. But yep, those additional resources right there.
Yeah, so we should do some interview questions on the next time. But all right, let's see if we had any questions. If we don't got no questions, but yeah, let's pull that survey back up. If we have your email, we're going to email out a link for the survey. We'll also put it in the Discord, and we'll put it in the YouTube description as well. So if you plan to go back and watch the replay, please do the survey. If we have the link for the survey now, we can drop it in the chat too. But if not, you guys can wait until we send it out. And please take the survey so we can know where we stand, what we need to improve, add, take away, things to that nature. Once again, also you can share this link on Twitter or any of your socials and just hashtag SQL Saturdays, all about the data. And that's it. That concludes this week's SQL Saturday. See you guys in the Discord. If you haven't joined yet, we want to shout out to the coaches, the moderators, the whole all about the data board members that put all this together and to make it possible for all of us to learn together and grow together. So with that being said, see y'all on the next SQL Saturdays and enjoy your week. And